At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
Oh. Okay, here we go. We're going to crack this open. Oh, there we go. All right. Some Diet Dr. Pepper. Hits the spot on a Monday morning. All right. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I'm your boy, Ty Hudson. Hope you guys had a good weekend. It was a mixed emotions kind of weekend. I get it. A lot of mixed emotions, but mostly good, I think. Arkansas, listen, Alabama had to have a quarterback break a record in order to beat the Hogs on Saturday. That's what had to happen for them to win, right? I mean, let's not sit here and pretend like they didn't need every single one of those yards to beat the Razorbacks. They did. I was listening. I was proud. I was proud of the Hogs. We're going to get into that game. We're also going to touch on the Razorbacks taking on Kansas State tonight. So we're gonna touch on that matchup, and then there's all kinds of news today. Yo, what's up, Robert Ainsworth? How you doing? Jacob Botwinick, woo pig suey baby, hashtag beat Mizzou. What's up, Ty? I hope all's well, man. I'm doing well, Eli. Thank you. Thanks for asking. I requested off from work so I could watch us take another trophy home, says Jacob Botwinick. I love that. I love it. I hate Missouri coach and their fans so much, and we need to win this game on Friday. Scott Swindle, what's up, man? Yo! Hopefully 3-point defense is better tonight. Yeah, it better be tonight because we're going to talk about kind of what they've done, what Kansas State's done. I'm telling you guys, I don't know that this is Kansas State last year, not so good. They're a little bit different this year. They've got a sophomore guard that's kind of a baller. Got tickets for the Missouri game this Friday. Haven't been to Fayetteville since the Western Kentucky game. Well, hopefully it goes a lot better this time. Ty, I actually made your live stream for once. What's up, Jarrett? How you doing, man? Thanks to Thanksgiving break. Right. That's awesome. Glad you could be here. We beat Mizzou 34-17, says Michael Dillon Clements. Yeah, you guys know we do our predictions on Friday. So if you want to save them for Friday, that'd be best because that's when we're going to do our complete breakdown of the – well, no, it'd be that morning. So we're going to – good grief. Shows are lined up this week. Holy crap. It's going to be a busy week here at the PTN, and I'm delighted to do it. I am delighted to do it. I believe we play either Cincy or Illinois. If we win, we play them later in the week. I think it's the next day, though. No, it's the following day, I think. Arkansas 31. Again, save the scores for Friday. Ty, are you going to the game? No. As of right now, probably not. No. And then, of course, my dad, who I've said multiple times here, please save your scores for Friday. He just goes right on ahead and gives us a score. Arky 56. Some of you guys that get upset about saying the word Arky, my dad's over here using it as his username on YouTube. That's pretty impressive. Okay, really quick, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Bobby Bones. Most of you know who Bobby Bones is. If you don't know who Bobby Bones is, Google him. Or as my dad would say, as Arky56 would say, Google him up. Google Bobby Bones. He's a Hot Springs native, well-known radio personality. Also starred in National Geographic's Breaking Bobby Bones. Yeah, that's right, the National Geographic's. He's basically like the unsung. Let's just say he's the son of Arkansas. I don't know why he has hate from Arkansas fans. There are people who just, for whatever reason, don't like him. I don't get that. You guys know how I am. I'm going to cheer for anyone from the natural state. If they go on and they find success, I love it. Maybe it's that chip that I carry on my shoulder. He offered LSU corner Eli Ricks an NIL deal on Twitter. Eli Ricks, I remember his recruiting. Came out of IMG, highly rated 5-star defensive back out of IMG Academy, as I said. He entered the portal today, according to Pro Football Focus. Ricks this year has 11 tackles and an interception as a true freshman. 4 interceptions and 5 pass breakups. That is huge. So Bobby Bones took to Twitter and publicly, like right there, you guys know, like it's right there on your thread. You're scrolling down. There it is. He has offered a deal, an NIL deal. Now, obviously, we don't know the specifics of the deal, but he's publicly opened it up to Eli Ricks, a former big-time 5-star who committed and obviously signed with the DBU LSU Tigers. If you could convince that guy to come to Arkansas, holy crap. He would be immediately eligible. Mo Brown apparently has another year of eligibility left. I wasn't aware of that. I thought he was used. I thought it was done. I thought he didn't have another year, but he does. Could you imagine getting Mo Brown back? I realize he had one of his worst games of his career against Bama, but you know what? So did everybody, and so is most DBs who've played Bama this year. I mean, they are like the second leading passing offense, and they in the SEC. I should say. I think they're right behind right behind Ole Miss, I think last I saw. And they have a Heisman contending quarterback who, broke a record, of course, against the Razorbacks. Again, look it up, man. Go find him on Twitter, Bobby Bones. Tell him Ty sent you. Say, hey, Ty over on Pig Trail said that you did this and that you should continue to pursue this. He has you have his blessings to pursue this, and I will be keeping a close eye on this with Eli Ricks. Florida Gators fired Dan Mullins after being hired 2018. Mullins has a 103-61 overall win-loss record while going 7-3 in bowl games. He won the SEC East in Florida in 2020. SEC coaches fired immediately after losses to Mizzou. I don't remember where I got this from. Someone on Twitter had posted it. One of those blue check mark people who I know half of them are why they have blue check marks. They're handing them out like candy now. But the coaches fired immediately after losing to Mizzou. Dan Mullen, Derek Mason in 2020, Brett Bielema in 2017. Of course, we all know that. Fired before he could even get on the bus. Butch Jones in 2017. Actually, that was at home. So he was fired as they were going to the locker rooms, if I remember right. But Butch Jones in 2017 and Derek Dooley in 2012 and Joker Phillips in 2012 were fired 1 week after losing to Missouri. That is the bar. If you lose to Mizzou, I don't care how well they started in this conference. They clearly walked in at a time when the SEC East was hot, flaming garbage. It still isn't that great. Behind Georgia, I don't know that any of those teams are any good at all. Tennessee played well against Georgia. That's their trophy of the year, by the way. So congrats to them. That conference is flaming hot garbage, and it has been for a number of years now. They came in and they won back-to-back in the East, and everyone thought, oh, they're going to be legit. Look at this former Big 12 team taking it to the SEC East. Yeah, we know both those years they'd be lucky to finish with 8 wins. And those were good Mizzou teams. I'm not taking anything away from them. But and now look at them since. I don't know. They have beaten Arkansas. I'll give them that. But this has been the worst stretch in Arkansas football history. So congrats. But they're still, what have they accomplished over there? And this is the bar. You lose to Mizzou, it's like we've got to reevaluate our lives. And Arkansas has had to reevaluate the last 2 coaches' lives. Of course, we know Chad was fired before the Mizzou game in 2019. But, yeah. Congratulations, Mizzou. Did you see Drinkowitz go on the podium and do his whole mocking of Dan Mullins with the Darth Vader gig? It was ridiculous. He's such a – oh, golly. I'm not real big on violence. I don't condone violence, but has there ever been a more punchable face than Drinkwitz? I mean, I'm from there, and this rivalry means something to me and my family. Jackass. Arkansas knocked out of the college football playoffs rankings after getting a bump just a week ago. The Hogs might have a shot getting back in if they can romp Mizzou at home. And some schools around them, including right in front of them and behind them, are going to have to lose on what's considered rivalry weekend. But this is a bullshit manufactured rivalry, and we all know it. Beating Missouri is not an accomplishment this year, by the way. It's not. But it'll put an end to that stupid losing streak you have to them. And I don't know that it's going to be all easy. Again, we're going to talk about that matchup on Friday. We're going to talk about that matchup, and I don't know, man. They've got arguably one of the best running backs in the SEC. They've got a quarterback who last year at home threw for like 74% at home last season, which is incredible. It was something like 72, 73%. On the road, not as good, obviously. Not many quarterbacks do have a same quarterback completion percentage on the road compared to what they do at home, but yeah, they've got some decent pieces on offense. On defense, they're just – they fired their defensive line coach. When was it, like week 5? So, yeah. All right, let me read chat here really quick, then we'll get into the Arkansas State game. Tyler Broadway says, yet Tennessee fans keep saying Heupel should win Coach of the Year. Yeah, I know. It's kind of ridiculous. Sorry, I'll come back Friday with score prediction. Yeah, Friday morning. We're going to do it. We're going to still be here, right? Sorry, Hunter Ricks is coming to town. I mean, he did it for Jalen Williams. Bobby Bones has an NIL deal with Jalen Williams. We have obviously no idea what that looks like, what the deal looks like, but he works for Bobby Bones. So another trophy coming back home, says Mike Wilmoth. The streak ends Friday. It's the most embarrassing streak. It is the most embarrassing thing to happen to this university, if you want my honest opinion. I don't know what's more embarrassing, Chad Morse as a head coach or this losing streak you have to Mizzou. Obviously you got to go with Chad because the worst 2 years you've ever had, or year and a half since Jack Crow. Crow lost to Citadel and was fired the next day. By the way, that was my very first game. Thanks a lot, RQ56. That was my very first game. I was going to watch Arkansas lose to Citadel. And then Jack Crow get fired. Chad Morris is our generation's Jack Crow, and he's actually worse. So that is going to take the cake. But losing to Mizzou, I think, it's not far behind. Having this losing streak. Losing every once in a while is one thing, but no, this is embarrassing. It's time to put it to an end. And, of course, Mike Wilmoth gives me a score, too. Mike, you might be late, but we're holding off on scores until Friday. Remember me, I'm the one who kept spamming respond. Oh, okay. Ash says, and then if Catalan somehow comes back, I'm not seeing that. We saw his tweet that he posted about being in good hands with Slusher. I think that was right after the interception against LSU, and he posted that. I don't feel very confident right now. I don't know. I know Sam said he's going to talk with some players about bringing him back. You're going to need Catalan back. I do like Slusher a lot. I do. I know he got burned, and like I told you guys on Friday's show, he's probably going to get beat. Everybody got beat against Bama. Overall, I think Slusher's a pretty solid safety so far. We'll see if he can develop, see if he can build off this season. Well, Mizzou was Arkansas's last game of the season that year, so does that one really count? Nisha, it's so painful though. Losing to them is so painful. I remember the 2017 Mizzou game vividly. Big Austin Allen performances, dude. Yeah. He got banged up. That's right. He was banged up going into that game, wasn't he? Please explain what the NIL would look. Dude, I have no idea, Hoyt. I have no idea. I don't even know what his deal. I know he has Jalen Williams go on Twitter and they do these little videos, or like I don't know. Maybe he comes on his radio show every once in a while. He still has his radio show, right? Doesn't Bobby Bones still do the radio thing? I know he covered country music, and I don't listen to country music. I really don't. I listen to Johnny Cash, like old school Johnny Cash. I'll listen to old school country. I mean, like I get down with some JC. He's an Arkansan. Of course I'm going to support him. I hope we put some points on Mizzou this year. I'm telling you, man. Nothing would please me more if Arkansas just mud stomped Mizzou 54-0. It would make my year, honestly. What up, Ty? I heard Florida is going after Bryles as their OC. Well, they don't even have a head coach yet, Michael. I mean, it wouldn't shock me that whoever they bring in, if they don't go, I mean, they'd be crazy not to offer Kendall Bryles. Unless you're talking about the older Bryles, Art, and even still, like they don't even have their head coach hired. Jared Fountain says we need Busta Brown back badly. Don't want to see Hudson Clark as a starter. If Hudson Clark's your starter next year, you are in big trouble. There's two areas I was wrong about this year, and I'll own up to it. DBs, I know they did well. They started off the year really strong. They did. They're top 10 for 60% of the season in total passing yards. And I mean, it's not like teams didn't try to go downfield on the Hogs. If you go back and watch early on in the year, quarterbacks are going through their reads. They had all day. To go through their reads because of a lack of any rush, no blitzing, conservative play calling by Odom on defense. And, these DB, the coverage downfield was solid. I think Catalan played a really big role in that. I know these guys have been a little banged up. Ladarius Bishop's been playing a little hurt. Mo Brown got banged up against, I want to say, Ole Miss, but that's been a while ago. I think he's fine now as far as I know. I can't explain why the secondary is just taking this huge – I don't know. The second half of the season's been terrible. Head coach for Mizzou is Drinkowitz. I don't know if he's a scumbag. I just don't like him. He's a dork. You going live earlier Friday? No, it'll be same time, 2:00 or 11:00. Sorry, it'll be 11 a.m. on game day, and then we're just gonna do the post game afterwards. I think Catalan is also just a leader. You're right. You're exactly right. He's a leader of that secondary. Ty, do you remember the Missouri player that made fun of us and still beat us? That made me mad. Yeah, he called us Arkansas. We're gonna smash Mizzou, says Jamil Robinson. Golly, Jamil, I hope so, man. They've just got to. I don't know. Do me a favor, like the stream. We've got like 12 likes, guys. We can do better than that. Come on now, get the likes up. Subscribe if you haven't already. We just continue to climb up the sub count. It's fantastic. This is a true independent channel. This is an actual independent coverage you're getting here. I'm not backed up by a recruiting site. I'm not backed up by a major local media like some of these guys. It's just me. So do me a favor, show some support for your boy. Shout out, of course, to you guys here in live chat, Patreon supporters. That list, again, will be updated here probably about a week and a half whenever Patreon sends me the receipt, I guess you could call it. Is that right? The receipt? Also, shout out, of course, to PTN sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, Garage Door Company. They operate out of Little Rock, Central Arkansas, Fayetteville, Rogers, just about all of Northwest Arkansas. Give them a call for an estimate. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box. They can replace or repair your garage door. Again, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Give them a call. Look up their link is provided in Discord and in the description box down below. Stated Apparel, softest shirts made right here in the beautiful state of Arkansas. They have a unique shirt just for you from State Pride. Sassy, funny, sarcastic, and pop culture all together, including, again, made right here. Softest shirts you'll find. Our shirts are hand printed on premium material that will leave you feeling and looking great. Our store offers something for everyone. So their link is provided for you down below in the description box, and they're also on the PTN sponsor page on Discord, on our Discord, on the PTN Discord. Really quick before we do get into this Kansas State game, I asked you guys in Discord, and if you're not there, there's another link for you down below. How many points for JD Note tonight against Kansas State? I'm curious. He's your leading scorer on the year. He's been balling out at almost 22 points a game through 3 games. John Pigsui says 24. King Flame Shot says 19. Turkey Twister 22. Eli Lewis 28. One more 24 says 21. Nashe says I think 17, but I think someone else might be better scoring tonight. Tony or Likes. Big Man Ross is 22, but the better question is, do they guard? Right. We're going to talk about that. And then Hawes says a whopping 27. That's pretty good, and it's possible. Kansas State, again, they won 9 games last year. They were bad. They've got a couple of, they're looking better this year, but again, their 2 opponents not exactly super great. So if you guys have your numbers, let's see. Brooks Jones says 17 tonight. Jared Fountain says 19. Alex says 40 for JD. Wow, that'd be a career high. Shooter Race Gaming says 15. Jared Collins says, hopefully we continue to show our program is getting better. We will get better players and be able to play different looks on D. You're talking about football. Okay. Stubbs says 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals for Note. Going to beat Kansas State tonight like we did in the 2016 Liberty Bowl. You've beaten them in 2 bowl games in the last decade. it wasn't a cheap shot on Burks. The kid was blocking on an onside kick. Nothing cheap about it. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't buying that it was a cheap shot. I think he was doing what every player does in that situation. I have a hard time calling that targeting. I really do. I have a hard time calling that targeting. I've seen the same people who called that targeting complain about targeting calls on Razorbacks. So I have a hard time seeing that as targeting. And I don't think it was a cheap shot either. I think sometimes we just have our homer goggles on, and I get it. You get caught up in the moment. We don't like to see our best player get knocked around like that. And I don't think anyone would throw as big of a fuss if that were, let's say, I don't know, name anybody, name any other player, as long as it's not someone that we recognize, right? Like if it were a third string defensive back, nobody would really care, right? Oh, that probably should have been a targeting. That would probably be about as far as it would go. And of course, it was on Treylon Burks. I don't think it was a cheap shot. I really don't, and I don't think it was targeting. I've seen Arkansas get away with a lot worse. In fact, Hayden Henry probably should have had at least 2 more targeting calls in the last 4 weeks, definitely, easily. Maybe even Grant Morgan too. There were a couple of times where I thought for sure they're going to, and they didn't. So no, I don't think that was targeting. I don't. Was it somewhat of like like maybe kind of an asshole thing to do, maybe, but like he's doing his job, and I would fully expect a Razorback to do the exact same thing. Eagles, okay, Eagle, are you changing your score or your points? Because you don't do that to me, bro. What do you have in our? Oh, you put, yeah, that's right. I ignored it. I ignore the Hogs by 90. That is played out. Come up with something new. Eagle says 20 or 27. I'll take that. That could happen. Dylan Sharp at 30. All right. Jared Collins says it was a clean play. Yeah, and I don't think I don't know. People are saying he got blindsided. I don't know. I mean, whatever. It wasn't called. Arkansas lost. What does it matter? But there was some bad officiating in that game. So JD gets 15 points, says Mike Wilmoth, because more players get hot. Hogs win by 10. Yeah, I think the score, what's the prediction right now? 7.5 for Kansas State? Or for Arkansas, I mean, for them to win. Yeah, Eagle, you're sharing old information. Yeah, we already talked about that. We talked about it. He's in the portal. You're sharing that on Discord, but he's already in the portal. We know that. Let's see here. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into the game. Arkansas taking on Kansas State tonight. That's an 8 p.m. game. Did I see that right? For some reason, all weekend I've been thinking like 7. It's an 8 p.m. game. Arkansas is favored on the ESPN Basketball Power Index at 72% favored to win. Again, the spread right now is Arkansas by about 8, 7.5. It just depends. Like, I hate to say this, and I feel like we're going to be saying this a lot about a lot of sports, a lot of Razorback sports these days, but it's like what team shows up tonight? You know, if Arkansas plays like they should, they ought to rout Kansas State. I mean, this shouldn't even be a ball game if you want my opinion, but they do have some ballers. Kansas State is capable of keeping this a game. They are 2-0, although they don't have any great wins. I would argue that the Razorbacks wins are a little bit, they're better. Arkansas has also had one more game to kind of adjust. That's another thing I like about it. The true question is winning this at a neutral site, and you know this game, it's actually in Kansas City, Missouri. You tell me how many Kansas State fans you think are going to be there compared to Hog fans. Probably going to be more Kansas State fans, especially because they've started the year out 2-0. You know, they're in kind of I don't want to call it a rebuild. I think their coach is actually kind of on the hot seat a little bit, but they yeah, I mean, this is definitely a game they want to go to. I don't think they'd want to miss the opportunity of watching your 2-0 team take on 3-0 number 16 ranked Razorbacks, who last year went to the Elite Eight and lost to the eventual national champions. I think there's going to be a lot of K-State fans there. You got to factor that into this. And if Arkansas plays like they have a couple of times this year on the bad side of things, Kansas State could win this game. I think they're capable of winning it. But I think Arkansas is more capable of winning it. Of course, I'm taking the Hogs to win this game. I was going to save that for the end, but I'm going to talk about the Razorback. I'm going to give you guys some second takes. Just kind of a second review of the Arkansas-Alabama game, just a little bit. Just some takes, some little things here and there. But, yeah, it's really the over-under right now is at 141, so they don't think it's going to be a super high-scoring game. Again, the spread's only about 8 points in Arkansas's favor. with the basketball power index, like I said, favoring the Hogs at 72%. Again, I think if Arkansas shows up the way they should, Muss talked about his ability this year to almost flip a switch, and the Razorbacks can go on these 14-0, 8-0 runs, 10-0 runs, 12-2 runs. We've seen them. I think their biggest run of the year is I think they went on a 14-0 run, did they not? Or 14-2 run. But they've done that like every game. They've been able to just kind of flip a switch, and they turn it on. He gets the right combination of guys on the floor. Kansas State is a little bit worrisome again. They have this guy Pack who's averaging about 17 points a game. He can knock down the trace. He's pretty good at 3-point range. They got a couple of guys that are capable of doing that, but especially Pack. Again, he's averaging about 17 points a game. It's going to be an interesting battle between. We'll see how much time he gets tonight, and if he does, he's going to be going up against their. They've got Mark Smith. Well, I don't know if he'll be on him a whole lot tonight, but Mark Smith, who's averaging like close to 7.5, 8 rebounds a game. He's been pretty active on both sides for them. He's averaging about 29.5 minutes. Not shooting particularly great. He's not one of your marquee, like, high-scoring guys. He's going to get you about 12 points a game, which is still great. He's committing about 2 fouls a game. But they have size. This is the thing. They actually have some size. Let me pull up. Okay, K-State last season, just terrible. Terrible. They finished 9-20 last year. So far this year, K-State is 2-0 with wins over Florida A&M and Omaha. In both those games, K-State shot north of 40% from 3 against Florida A&M, and they shot 9 of 22 against Florida A&M, and they were 9 of 19 against Omaha. Defending the perimeter against K-State could present a challenge like everybody has this year, and when you consider the level of talent K-State has with Pack, Davian Bradford, who's their big. He's 7 foot, 266 pounds. Now he's not the reason why you're struggling at the perimeter. He's a big, obviously. They're going to present some size matchups down low. Some good size matchups down low. It's gonna be curious to see how they defend the perimeter. This is gonna be the first, I think, size-wise, well-balanced team. And you talk about talent, it's probably a step up compared to what they've played these last 3 games. But yeah, Bradford 7 foot, 266 pounds, and Keose Ezigu 6'10", 260 pounds. They've got some beef. They got some beef down low. And so what are the combinations of size that Musselman plays with tonight? K-State presents a little bit different challenge than what Arkansas has really seen when you talk about combining the size and the level of talent that they're going up against tonight. This is probably their first real test of the year, plus it's away from Bud Walton. Nigel Pack is 6 foot, about 185 pounds, could prove difficult to deal with, shoots well outside, handles the ball really well with 2 turnovers, just 2 turnovers through 40-plus minutes on the floor through their first 2 games. As a team, K-State has been prone to actually turning the ball over, averaging just right around 15 turnovers in just the 2 games that they've played. So they're 30 turnovers in 2 games. Yeah, I would favor Arkansas, but I really think it could go either way. But I feel like it's a game that if Arkansas shows up and does what they're supposed to do, they could run them out of the arena. But we haven't really seen them put together a full game yet, and because of that, it makes you wonder, do they give K-State some confidence? Wait a minute, we can go toe-to-toe with these Razorbacks, with the 16th ranked Hogs. You let them build up some confidence. We saw how that happened last game. You let them build up some confidence, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're here. We're not losing this thing. We're going to play you. And, of course, Arkansas ended up taking that game away in the final minutes. But this could be challenging. But I do like Arkansas. I don't know about the spread. Basketball spreads are just not my – I don't know, man. I think it could go either way, but I would take Arkansas probably by a little. And maybe it is 8 points. So, yeah. Let's see. The question is how healthy Williams is after the ankle injury. That's also something I have jotted down here on my notes. How healthy is he? We know he's been dealing with an ankle injury. We've also heard his back has been bothering him off and on. Does Connor Vanover, if this game – now you got to imagine if K-State goes with a larger roster, they're not going to be able to go up and down the floor really quickly. What little film I have seen, they are capable of moving up and down the floor fast. But when they go with a heavier set, I've not really seen much of that, and it makes you wonder if they have that 7-footer and the 6'10" on the floor at the same time. How much time does Jalen and Connor and those guys, your bigs, how much time are they on the floor for? And you wonder about your depth at those positions versus Kansas State. Now, Kansas State, besides those two, I don't think they have another 6'10" guy. I could be wrong. I think I only saw one 6'10" and, of course, one 7-footer on the roster. If they had two 7-footers, you'd be in for a world of hurt. But Arkansas matches up okay against them, I think. I really do in terms of size, talent. Obviously, they're on another level. But K-State could be they could prove to be a little problematic. Sounds like Vanover gets some run that I think he probably will. I think Connor, I would be shocked if he doesn't have the most minutes he's had all year on the floor, unless K-State goes with it. It just kind of depends on what K-State does. It all kind of really depends on how fast, how up and down the floor, how quickly they want to play, and what their size combination looks like on the floor. NIU shot blindly from three and killed it. Well, they did, but you also have to remember, Hoyt, early in that game, they got a lot of open looks. And Eric Musselman talked about it. It is a problem. And they did. They got confidence outside. And then from that point on, really this bottom part of the first half all the way through the rest of the game, they had all the confidence in the world, and they were making well-contested three-point shots. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt. We suck at guarding the line. Oh, they have. They've made adjustments. I do think they played better at the perimeter against NIU, but then it just didn't matter at that point because you allowed them to gain some confidence. I'm not sure if you've already saw our answer, but no, I'm not going to the game. Right now, as of right now, if anything changes, I'll let you know. If I get tickets and if I get access, I might consider it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is my office. I love having everything at my disposal. I would love to go to a Razorback game. I love meeting, fans every time I go to the stadium or if I'm on campus. I love it when people come up and want to talk. That's great. I really do like talking with people out there, but it is nice to just be able to sit here, have all my numbers. I've got the best seat in the house watching the game, and I can give you a little bit better take. I'm not sitting up in a media box, if I'm at the stadium, but here I've got the best tickets in the house, and I can talk a little bit more accurately about what we just saw. But does he have the body to play a 270-pound man? No, but what he can do, and I think, Hoyt, this is what people sometimes forget, is he alters shots, right? And then he presents a problem on the offensive end because he is capable. Connor is capable, if that's who you're talking about. He is capable of knocking down threes. We know he has. We've seen it. We saw it at first against the red-white scrimmage last season, I think it was, when he came in and he shot, or maybe it was his first year on campus. I can't remember, but at a red-white scrimmage, he knocked down three after three. He was on fire. He did it times last year, and we've seen it a little bit this year, but he hadn't had a lot of minutes on the floor this year. And that obviously is because of the pace of the game. The quicker the game, the less likely Connor's going to be on the floor. And then Eric Musselman will go with a little bit smaller set on the floor. But again, he alters shots. He stretches the floor out on from an offensive perspective. He can knock down threes, and you can't guard him at the perimeter. I mean, it's like Kevin Hart trying to defend. I don't want to say Shaq. That's not a fair. But the size-wise, it's hard to defend a guy who's 7'3". I don't care who you are. So he provides that, stretches the floor out, forces your 4 or 5 to come up out of the box a little bit, and it frees up lanes. So now you can move the ball around and get an easy shot in the lane, get a layup or something, do something around the rim, finish around the rim. That's going to be key tonight, I think, being able to finish. They may not even try to drive the lane with some of K-State's size. NIU was in a huge zone until the last 3 minutes of the game. Happy Monday, Ty. I was wondering about that too, but are you going live here? Yeah. It'll be regular time. It'll be 11 a.m. Yeah, Friday will be 11 a.m. for the show. Absolutely. They have 6 forwards, 6, 9 to 7. They only rotate, from what I saw, and again, we only have 2 games. They do have size. Like I said, this is a bigger team than you've played all year. It's a more talented team than you've played all year. And I already mentioned their baller. Nigel Pack. I already talked about him. But, yeah, Davian Bradford, Izago, Kaosi Izago, and they've got a couple other – they've got several other 6'9" guys. But they don't have a lot of the 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers. They've only got one 6'10" guy and a 7-footer. And I don't know that those 6'9" guys, they do rotate a little bit from what I was able to find. I wish we had a larger sample size to kind of see what they're going to experiment with on the floor. But again, like I said, this is a bigger roster than you've dealt with all year. Like I said that earlier. This is the biggest roster you've played against all season long. So we'll see how Arkansas manages. They have 2 7-footers. I didn't see a second 7-footer. Let me look again. I did not see I didn't see a second 7-footer. At least not one that got any minutes on the floor. Hang on. Kansas State basketball. Roster. Okay. I'm going to scroll down here. I didn't see one that contributed. Oh, they do. Okay, so I have Davian Bradford. That's my bad. Yeah, Carlton Lingard Jr. How many minutes does he have, though? Man, they've got size, man. It's ridiculous. They have some legit size. Yeah, he hasn't even played this year. I don't even have him down for stats. That's probably why I missed him. Let me look. Let me pull up his stat page. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for 2021. He's a junior, 7 foot, 215. He's a skinny 7-footer being 215. Loving you. Statistics. Let's see. Has he have any minutes on the floor this year? I don't see him. I don't think he's registered any minutes on the floor. Yeah, I don't see him. Let me copy. All right, let's go. Yeah, he's not. I don't see him. He's not registered any minutes this year. He might be hurt. I don't know. Maybe he's just not. He's not been a contributor. Maybe he's just been on the bench. But I'm not seeing him anywhere. He's not been a contributor. I'm looking. I'm ready. Yeah, I don't see him anywhere as far as stats are concerned. So I don't know if he plays tonight. Maybe he does. If he does, that's a problem. Let's Google him up. Let's Google him up. Let's see if he plays tonight. Because, boy, if you've got 2 7-footers that are going to play. Paste. News. Let's see. Or it's also possible he's just a terrible 7-footer and he doesn't get minutes. That could also be the case. Yeah, I don't see anything on him when you look up news. So I don't know. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, K-State's men's, they hold media day. Man, for the first time, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. K-State returns 4. Yeah, they do. They have 4 of their top 5. They have experience back, and that's something else you have to consider. These guys know how to play together. And they do have a Little Rock native. Marquise Noel is a Little Rock native. I don't see anything on him, so I don't think he's a contributor. We'll see. But, so, yeah, if you've got 2 7-footers that contribute, that's a problem. Every game, Musselman has corrected a major issue. He said the only major issue left is 3-point defense. I have faith that it will get better. Did you see – I was looking up numbers. Arkansas in turnover to assist ratio is top – I think it was top 10 in the country. I mean, and that's a stat that he swears by, and he's right. The turnover or the assist to turnover ratio, I mean, even being in the top 25 at this point is huge. For them to be ranked anywhere near the top 10 is incredible. So, yeah, I agree with that, Brandon. You're exactly right. They have every single week, every game. And we saw this at times his last 2 years here, but especially last year where you felt like he had the roster to kind of whatever changes he needed to make, he could make them. And Arkansas is an attractive school. What has happened in the last 2 years at Arkansas should have been happening for the last 20. Tell me I'm wrong. The success that Eric Musselman has had recruiting, on the floor. What we saw last year, that's only 1 year, I get it, but these are the expectations Arkansas should have had throughout the entire 2000s since Nolan Richardson left the university. Since that departure, Arkansas every year should have been a top 15, top 10 program. You can't tell me what Sutton started, right? And then Nolan took over, and it took Nolan a couple of years to get it rolling a little bit. And what Nolan was able to achieve from the mid-'80s all the way up until about 97, 96, where the expectations were, Elite Eight or bust, and then all of a sudden the 2000s come along and you completely drop off the map. At the very least, that shouldn't have been happening at all. Now, Mike had some moments. Pelfrey, his first year, had some moments. Stan Heath, overall, still a disappointment. But this is where Arkansas basketball should be. It really should. In fact, a lot of people felt like, being outside of the top 12 was a disrespect. And we'll see. Tonight might be a good preview of what they're capable of doing. Again, this is the biggest roster you've had to deal with. Have all the confidence in the world and must. I agree. Every game Elsaman is corrected. I already read that. My bad. 9-20 team against number 16. You say could go either way. Hogs, Michael. That's a year ago. This is basketball. Things change. Things change week to week in basketball. You can't look at what a team did a year ago. Yes, I think it could go either way because of their size. If Arkansas brings their A game, I feel like I got to have a sit-down chat with you like every show. With their size and the experience, they have 4 of their 5 leading scorers back. They've got a 7-footer and a 6'10" guy that have both contributed a lot. And with a really good guard and pack, and the fact that it's closer to home for them, and they're probably going to have more fans than Arkansas, I would imagine. Then again, Hog fans travel well. We know that, especially when they're good. But all things considered, this is a different Kansas State team than a year ago, I think. Now, they may not be. Again, our sample size is 2 games. That's all we have to go by. What I do know, what I've seen and read, they have size, and they have a phenomenal shooter in pack. They shoot well at three-point range. These 2 games they've shot, I think, north of 40% at three-point range. Probably they need a little bit of work at the free throw line and what have you, but it's clear that they've been able to kind of open things up outside and allow Pack to knock down some trays. He averaged 2.2 points per game. When are you win? I'm not seeing that. Carlton Lingard Jr. Okay, it is possible. I need my glasses on, but I don't even see him averaging any minutes per game stats. I'm taking this straight from ESPN. I don't know what are you talking about last year, maybe 2020, 2021? Because I don't see him on here at all as a contributor. When I say when you have 2 7-footers, I mean if you have 2 contributing 7-footers, I don't see him on here at all. But again, they do have size, and I agree with that. They do have some size. They've got several 6'9" guys and 7-footer and a 6'10" guy, both of which contribute. Koise Ezigu, I don't know, I can't pronounce his name. He's been somewhat productive. He's averaged about 18 minutes on the floor, 8 points. He's averaging a block per game, shooting 70% at the free throw line. That's pretty good. And 80% from the field, which what does that tell you? He's getting easy buckets down low. And he's a junior, 6'10", 260 pounds. And he is a number 20, so keep an eye on him. So, yeah, Collins, that's last year. That's last year, man. I'm talking about this year. I don't care about what he did last year. He's not done anything yet this year. But to be fair, they've only played 2 games. We could see them rotate. That is absolutely possible. What's up, Jenna? How you doing? Yeah, I like Arkansas tonight. I do. I like the Hogs. I think it'll be close. If I had to, I don't want to say it's a coin flip. I think Arkansas should be favored, and like I said, the ESPN BPI, their basketball power index, favors Arkansas by a little bit, and I do too. All right, Razorbacks versus Crimson Tide. What are we at on minutes here? 49 minutes. Perfecto. So just kind of a second or final look on the Alabama game, or some noteworthy stats too as well. Quarterback KJ Jefferson is one of only 4 quarterbacks in the country to throw 20 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions. What's his touchdown turnover ratio right now? Like 25 total touchdowns, maybe 5 turnovers. I could be wrong. I know he has a couple fumbles. He's put the ball on the field a little bit, but when you consider the guy has the ball in his hands constantly, it's actually not that bad. He's either throwing it or he's running it. The Hogs' final week of the regular season, averaging 222 and a half yards rushing per game, the most since 2007, when Darren McFadden and Felix Jones were running wild on defense. As you remember that South Carolina game. That's from Kyle Parkinson, the Razorbacks communication director. You know, the guy responsible for one day giving me a press pass, if it ever happens. Kyle Parkinson. Maybe one day it'll happen. Bryce Young in this game passed for more yards than any Alabama quarterback ever had in a game. 559 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. Congratulations, you made somebody else's record book. That's got to be like the 5th time that's happened in the last 4 years. And Bama won their 15th straight consecutive game against the Razorbacks. Are you going to wait after the Missouri game to start fully talking bowl game? I'm going to wait till I don't know. I don't like guessing on bowls either, because maybe the next week or when they announce it, maybe we'll go live. I don't know. Maybe we'll go live after we get a bowl game announcement. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you win convincingly, and some teams that were projected to go to one of these Florida bowls, maybe then, you know, I like your odds. Then you finish 8-4 with the most difficult strength of schedule in college football. I saw one prediction. What was it, the Gator Bowl against Clemson? I don't know how I feel about that. It's those kind of games, Arkansas. I don't know, man. I mean, Clemson, yeah, they weren't that good this year. But I would honestly, I think I would take that game. I think I would even favor the Razorbacks in that matchup. But they're a really good defensive team. But their offense is not so great. Good morning from Montana. According to the Sportsbook Live line, Arkansas 8.5. What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Kansas State game. Okay. 139 total points. Yep. Jenna Mayes says, I'm good. It's nice to be at work today. Or not to be at work today. Yeah, you're on. You got the whole week off. As much as I love my job. Size. Oh. Michael, you're like talking to a wall. I'm not going to read your comment. The one fumble from KJ was a miscommunication. He's had 2. He's had at least 2 or 3 fumbles. I don't know if they were all recovered by the opponent, but I'm pretty sure he's put the ball in the field 3 or 4 times. And I know he's turned it over at least once. I know he had one. Hell, he had one against Bama, but that was on the center. If we go 8-4 and we get back on the BCS top 25, we should get a good bowl. I agree. I do. I agree with that. I always see that Clemson versus Arkansas bowl game. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like it either, because Clemson does have tons of talent. I mean, you're talking about consistent top 3, top 5 recruiting classes for how long? You know, I mean, the talent is there. And when you talk about those kind of matchups for a bowl game, you're giving them X amount of weeks to prepare for Arkansas. Of course, you know, the same thing for Arkansas versus their opponent. I get it. I just meant the one against Bama. Oh, okay. Yeah. He had one against Bama, but that wasn't on him. That was on center, without a doubt. Without a doubt, that was on the center. Can't do that. So, yeah. Looking back on it again, it was pretty funny. I was over at my dad's house last night helping him reset his YouTube password for the 500th time. He's gone now. I think he's at work. But Arky56 in chat is my dad, And that's why he hasn't commented here. He watches, but he can't comment because he forgets his passwords all the time. So I was over there last night helping him reset his passwords, and I let him borrow our shampooer too, by the way. We got one of those cordless. I forgot what it's called, but it's pretty badass. It's a badass cordless shampooer. So I shampooed his carpets for him, reset his passwords, doing what a good son does, even though he constantly shames me for not coming over there enough. But we were talking. He said, "You're pretty. You're going at your some of the viewers on the Kendall Briles stuff." And I said, "Yeah, because I push back. I push back on some of the goofy takes, like we should fire Kendall Briles. It's absurd. Arkansas scores the most points Bama's allowed at home all year. Yardage-wise, one of the best performances against Bama. Now, there have been other games. Florida, who is good on offense, there's no doubt. But before Mullins got fired, they were really good on offense, but their defense was atrocious, and their offense still had problems. And I don't know if that was a good idea for them to fire him. I really don't know, because now you put a ton of pressure on this next guy. But Florida's a pretty decent job, so we'll see what they do there. It would be hilarious if they hired Kiffin. But yeah, I think some of like I said, anyone who bashes Kendall, I would question what on Saturday, outside of a few just not so great calls. I mean, I would argue they were pretty bad calls on third down, and the quarterback draws on third and long. I don't get them either. But do you think it's deserving for this guy to be like the hate that came out on him? I mean, the Facebook groups, and listen, you're going to always have people on social media that are ridiculous, right? We get them in here from time to time. But when you're calling for his head, when you're calling for him to be fired after that performance, you did not watch the game. You either watched highlights, or maybe you were too busy bitching and moaning about Kendall Briles the whole game to actually watch the game. I thought it was honestly mostly a really well-called game. I'd have to give his performance as a play caller probably a solid B+. I mean, I thought, anytime you put 35 on Bama, it's the second most points they've given up all year. Their only other most points given up was to A&M on the road, by the way, at College Station. That's the only other team that could put up those kind of points. And Arkansas was able to do it. Yeah, it took a special teams fake to get there, sure, but then you have to account for the rest of the offensive production and the rest of the scores, right? Even still, you're one of the most points that Bama's given up at home all year, and some of the most yardage they've given up at home. KJ was carving up that secondary. And something I've been critical, and this is what I will say, something I've been critical of, and I was talking with my boy over at QB Spotlight in the DMs, and we were talking about this against LSU. Why Kendall doesn't dial up more downfield throws is beyond me. Now, a couple of times, look, Kendall's not out there blocking on the offensive line. A couple of times, D-line just broke through. Pass blocking at times was not very good, and it forced KJ, to panic and run around in circles and get sacked or whatever. Force him to throw the ball to the field, throw the football that would eventually be called an intentional grounding, despite the fact that Treylon Burks was like 5 feet in front of him. That was the most ridiculous bullshit call I've ever seen. But we're not surprised. I mean, when you zoom out and you look at the body of work, this year has been really solid on offense, like really good. And I do want Kendall back for a third year. I do. I don't understand people that want to run him off. Like I said Saturday, and like I've said every week, I think some people just have short-term memory loss. They don't remember what it was like during the Craddock years for some reason. They forget about how bad things can really get here. Now, yeah, that was under Chad Morris. I don't see that ever happening under Sam Pittman. I don't ever see that happening under Sam Pittman. But the grass is always greener on the other side, right? I mean, that's what people always seem to think. Like, you're going to go out and hire someone that's better. I don't know. You could. Maybe Loggins, who's the next guy up, has been studying Kendall Briles. I don't think he ran the RPO in the NFL when he was a coordinator for Chicago when he had Cutler. And he did give Cutler a really good year. I don't remember what year that was, but he did give Cutler – I think Cutler's best career year was when Loggins was quarterback. But I don't think he was running the RPO. And that's what you have to deal with next year. That's the kind of quarterback you have, right? If Loggins is the next guy up. And I'm not even opposed to that. the more I think about it, the more it's like, you know what? We're seeing what he can do recruiting. Let's see what he can do as an OC if that is the route they go. I hope they look around first. I hope they actually make an attempt to kind of look around. And then if you don't see anything you like, you go to Loggins. But I'm willing to give the guy a shot if Hunter Yurchek signs off on it and that's who Sam Pittman wants. And look at the job that his coaches have done, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Look at how well the offensive line has played this year. Look at Treylon Burks. Look at Treylon Burks this year. We're seeing the tight ends. We're seeing Trey Knox get more involved on offense. And that's a testament to the very guy that we're talking about that could be the next OC. I mean, that's a difficult thing to do, to move a wide receiver. I don't care about his body size or the fact that he does block pretty well downfield. Moving him from wide receiver to the tight end spot is not something that should be as seamless as it's actually kind of looked. And the only week he didn't have any production, he was hurt. Every week since he's been moved to tight end, Knox has had production. So I'm willing to kind of trust Sam Pittman's. I hate this chair. You hear that? Sounds like I hate this chair. But the production's been there from tight end. Every move on offense seems to be one in the bonus. The only area, I guess, of concern really has been the wide receivers outside of Treylon Burks. They still don't have a second receiver, and that's something that the fact that they even have 7 wins with only Burks being your major contributor in the receiving game, it also speaks to the fact that you're really a power run offense. That's really what you are. You only throw the ball. What do they average, like 25 throws a game or something? They don't throw the ball a whole lot unless they really have to. But what do you know, man? I mean, if whatever happens with Kendall, but I would like to see him back. I've been critical of some of his play calling. I've been critical of his third downs. We saw them 4 and 5 wide sets not run the ball on 3rd and long, and they converted. I want to see more of that. Where was that earlier in the year, right? Polybus is late again. That's all right, Polly. At least you made it, right? I would argue that KB didn't have much of an impact on the game. KJ and Burks outplayed. You didn't watch the game, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, KJ and Burks played well. But who put them in position to do so, right? You can't just call up any play and expect KJ and Kendall or KJ and Treylon to go out and play like they did. You've got to have a game plan. And look, again, that the final drive of the game was stupid. It took too long, and I'll agree with that all day long. Again, the criticism's fair, but that is the kind of stuff that's ridiculous. To give him no credit, Brandon Tybolt, to say that you're arguing that KB didn't have an impact on the game is ridiculous. He had an impact on that game. He sets the offense. He does the install. He prepares for this game, and he calls the plays. Yes, he had an impact, whether you'd want to admit it or not. Major Applewhite is still sore from the Cotton Bowl. I don't know what you're talking about. I've always liked Knox. I'm always happy to see him out there. The fact that Knox has, again, transitioned from wide receiver to tight end, and it seems so seamless. He's catching balls. I mean, he's having more production this year as a last-second tight end, like a last-second option for this coaching staff to be like, we got to get someone else there, and to get him there and to see him have the kind of production he's having. Imagine if they had done this back in fall. Early part of fall camp. Imagine if they made this move. And again, this was Knox's idea. This wasn't Sam Pittman. This wasn't Kendall Briles. This wasn't Loggins. This wasn't anybody else. This was Knox going to the staff and saying, you know what? Try me out at tight end. I want to get some numbers. Here's how I think I can do it. And he's done it. This was his idea, which makes me believe I feel pretty good about him coming back next year, getting a full offseason to develop at the position. It's been pretty impressive. So I hope Arkansas plays a Big 12 team in a bowl game. Yeah, me and you both. Polybus says I like our speed at wide receiver next year. Centania runs that bubble screen like a madman. Did you see his stats Saturday or Friday? 16 catches, 200 and X amount of yards. I forgot how many scores. I mean, I can't believe anyone. I mean, look, that doesn't mean he's going to translate. His game's going to translate here, and all of a sudden he's going to ball out. But it's looking likely like that kid's going to come in and compete. There's no doubt in my mind. He's got the skill set. Hopefully he's willing to bulk up. Yeah, and I think he is. I think he's already working on that. He's talked about his weight gain. Paulie, he's talked about his weight gain being pretty tough, actually. You know, Mullen gets $6 million within the first 60 days of termination. Wow. I haven't looked at his deal yet. That's pretty crazy. How many times is Kendall going to use quarterback draw on 3rd and long? Right? I know. And it's a head scratcher. You know, I feel like it's like when it comes around time to voting, I'm this way. I'm an independent. I don't lean one way or the other. I feel like I'm doing the same thing here with Kendall Briles. I don't lean one way or the other, really. Yeah, I want him back next year, but I don't get the far right. I don't get the far left. I don't get you guys. You guys that go out here on these extremes that are like, Kendall needs to be fired or Kendall needs to be given a 10-year extension. I haven't seen those people, but they do exist. I don't understand these extreme points of view here. I don't get it. Now, I realize some of you aren't saying that. And like I said, the criticism is fair. But the fire him crowd, and I had people comment my last live stream after the fact. People that came in after the fact. Go back and look. One guy in particular said, I'm in the Fire KB Now crowd. So they're out there. They're all over Facebook. They're all over Twitter. They're everywhere. And, yeah, you're going to always have those extremes on social media. They sometimes speak the loudest, even though sometimes they seem like the craziest, right? That's what we see now on Twitter. Politics, entertainment, whatever, movies, the nerd world. When you talk about superhero movies, you got these people on both sides of the spectrum. You got the same thing in football, same thing in sports. These people that just take these far positions, and I do not understand it. Knox deserves to be a wide receiver next year. Oh, no, what he deserves, Jack, is to get an opportunity wherever the staff and he feels like he can excel at. And clearly, with the limited time at tight end that he's had, he's shown that he at least has the capacity to play the position. So I would argue that he's done a better job this year in just a handful of games at tight end than he did all of last year. So I don't know that I completely agree with that statement. Briles isn't the best, but he's the best available in my opinion. I don't know if I even agree with that. I would argue he's a pretty damn solid OC. I mean, I get what you're saying, but to act like he's the best that's available, like that, what? Dude, you've had a consistent top 10 rushing offense. Most of the year you were top 20 in total offense. I would argue one of the areas that they've really struggled at is scoring offense. The red zone offense, not good. Got to do better. Do Razorback fans give Odom a pass because of we lack speed? They give Odom a pass. That's a good question. Why are we bitching more about Kendall Briles than we are Barry Odom? Your defense has been horrible the second half of this season. It was last year. Now, last year, both sides of the ball were not that great. Offense was extremely inconsistent. And they both deserved criticism a year ago. This year, you've seen the adjustments. Kendall has clearly made a leap forward compared to last year, whereas I would think Odom hasn't really stepped in any direction. Now, I'm not saying he should be fired. Like I said, I want both of these guys back next year. I think in order for this rebuild to work, and it's going really well, I would argue, in order for it to work, I think you need both of those guys back for a third year. So hard saying it's all play calling in an RPO offense, not impossible but hard. With more options at receiver, we'll see less quarterback draws. And this is the other thing too. The RPO, you can't read a quarterback's mind. You don't know if the coordinator, if Kendall, and I feel like he has on first down that he's told Burks, we're going to run the ball every first down. I feel like he has burned that into Kendall's head or into KJ's head, and that's the play call from the sidelines. You're either keeping it or you're giving it. And I just disagree with that. And I think Kendall, if that is the case, and again, we don't know that. I haven't heard Sam Pittman. I don't know that the media's asked Sam Pittman that. Like, what's going on first down? Why are they so predictable on first down? Is Kendall telling KJ to run or keep? Is he telling him, regardless, we're keeping the ball on the ground on first down? And if so, why? He could probably counter that and say, well, we have been a top 10 running offense all year, so I think it's been pretty productive. But I would counter that with, but first down yardage, Arkansas struggled for a large percentage of the season. I don't understand it. I don't understand 3rd and 7 QB draws if those are coming from the sidelines. We got to remember this is the RPO. So what the RPO is, for those of you who, and some of you, definitely people, I don't think they're here live right now, but some people seem to forget that the RPO is based on what the quarterback reads from the defense, right? If the linebacker bites on the fake give, which is essentially could be a play action pass or it could be a quarterback keep. If they bite, you keep or you throw over the top, right? It's up to the quarterback. That's what the RPO is designed to do. So we do put a lot of heat on Kendall on plays like that when we don't know for sure that was the call from the sidelines. We don't know that. That's the whole point of the RPO. You don't know what's going to happen because the quarterback has to make that decision like that. We should be arguing is KJ maybe making the wrong reads too often. I know Sam has kind of softly commented over the weeks about, being predictable. We heard, I don't remember who it was on the call on an SEC network game, but they said that these calls were too predictable. But again, we talked to QB Spotlight about this in Discord. Those of you who were there, you remember. He said, we don't know because that's the design of the RPO. We don't know if that's a call coming from Kendall or if KJ's making that decision. Now, I would argue on first down, that call's got to be coming from Kendall because they're running it all the time on first down. And I've complained, and I'm in that boat too. Like, maybe I've been wrong. Maybe this has been all the entire time. Maybe we should be asking KJ, like, are you being instructed on particular reads to do something different? Like, what's going on? We don't know. At the end of the day, we can sit here and flap our gums and type use our fingers to type up, these kinds of questions all day long. But we really don't know until Kendall or Sam Pittman or KJ come out and say, yeah, no, that's what I've been instructed to do. And actually, almost every play is actually, Kendall. He may call the play in, right? And if that is the case, so maybe we need to start taking, on first down at least, taking the ball out of the hands of KJ and actually get a called play from the sidelines, like, okay, 4 wide, play action pass, cross routes over the middle, hitch route, whatever the play call is. Get some routes that are actual first downs, right? Instead of these 2 yard or yard and a half behind the line of scrimmage throws. I don't understand those on 3rd and long. They do that. I don't even know why that route's an option on 3rd and long. Why you go to a check down 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That has not worked this year once on 3rd and long. It hasn't. It has not worked once. Why is that route? And again, that's a reflection of Kendall. Why are you calling any play set that has a route that has you a yard and a half behind the line of scrimmage? What are we doing here? Come on. KJ is super conservative on his decision-making. That's a good thing, but also could be a hindrance. Yeah. When is the last time Jefferson threw a pick? It's been a while, right? Yeah. No, they haven't thrown a pick, and I'm not debating his accuracy or his decision-making to throw the ball. I'm arguing his first downs. They seem to be scripted from the sidelines is what I'm arguing, is that it seems like on first down, Kendall is telling him we're not throwing it on first down. And I just simply don't understand that. Because your first down, if you don't have success on first down, it could and oftentimes has for Arkansas. It puts you in this what is Arkansas's average 3rd down? Is it 3rd and 2? No. It's like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. So really for this offense on 3rd down throughout the year, for this particular offense this year, that might as well be 3rd and 15. They have not been. Now against Bama, what'd they do different this week? They spread it out. They went 4 and 5 wide sets and they were throwing the ball and KJ and Burks were doing their thing. Where's that coming from? Who's making that call? That's coming from Kendall. He fumbles more than he picks because he runs more. I don't give Odom a pass. If one coordinator has to go, I choose Odom to hit the street. I don't want Odom to go. I want him to stay. Sarkisian gonna cook at Herman's. Oh man, need the first down 4 yards. I mean, what do they average on first down? 3 yards? It seems like it's always 2nd and 7. Or then it sets up for 3rd and long. Or they get a penalty, right? They get a false start. I'm pretty sure the last one was that Ole Miss one where he just threw. I don't remember the last time. I think it was Ole Miss. I think it was. It's been a while, man. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't throw picks. He's accurate. There's no doubt that he's been a great decision maker when he's throwing the ball. And not only that, he's throwing for first downs. His deep field accuracy. I again, last I saw the number, balls thrown beyond 25 yards. He's like 65, 70%. That's insane. I wish they would do it more. Stretch the field out. Throw the ball downfield. I don't want him to go either, but KB is really good OC. Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I get it, Whit. I hear you. So hard saying it's all play calling in an RPO offense. Right. I already read that. There's another comment up here I wanted to read before we call it. Jared Collins says, I want him back for consistency in our program. Same with Odom. To rebuild this program to where we want it, we need consistency in our coaching staff. Yeah, I agree. 115%, Jared Collins, sir. They need both these guys back. They need Odom and Kendall, and I hate to admit this. They need to bring Fountain back. They need to bring him back. I've been impressed. I have. This year the turnaround has been fantastic. They still commit penalties. They still got to burn timeouts, when fourth down, when the punt team comes out. They're still having some issues there. But their punt coverage, their kick coverage when they do have to cover kickoffs, the fakes, I'm assuming that's him. I don't know. I'm assuming that's been set up by Fountain. I'm sure it has. Little has been a godsend. He's been fantastic. Punting, okay, yeah, you'd like some more balls punted behind the 20 and maybe the punting, right? But coverage has been really good. It's been really good. I'll just say I hope they bring Fountain back. I did not think I would be saying that halfway through the year. Now I reset every year. I reset and I say, okay, here's a new year. Go out and do it. They've changed. They're still making these mistakes. They're still having to burn timeouts. But the turnaround on special teams has been just unbelievable. So I'll admit it, man. I've been wrong on DBs and special teams this year. I really have. And I'll own up to it. I'm a man of my word. I will be right here and tell you guys when I'm wrong about something. Too often do I get people in comment section who'll say, whatever, and then they'll say, well, Ty, I hope you're here. I hope you're here when you're wrong. I'm always here, buddy. Always. Question is, are you? Fountain has impressed me, says Eagle. Our special teams have improved so much. It has. I agree. Man, I hope Hornsby doesn't transfer if he doesn't win the job now. He ain't winning the job next year. You can forget about that. I told y'all after spring, I said he's not winning the job. I told y'all going into spring when Sam announced KJ is the starter, I said he's not getting it. I feel like it's gonna be KJ unless KJ has a horrendous spring camp. And he didn't. He was solid. And then through fall camp, I kept saying, I did say I felt like eventually it wouldn't shock me to see him get replaced. We'll see when the season actually happens. If he doesn't find a way to lose the job. And I was wrong on that. KJ has just walked away with this job. He's run away with it. And matter of fact, I hope they start the KJ Heisman, the hype. Start it now. I mean, he's had a fantastic year. It's just, you don't see a performance like this very often, and they've done an incredible job. And credit to Sam Pittman, credit the offensive line, credit the run game, Kendall Briles, and of course KJ himself. He's just improved, and it's just been so fun to watch. I felt like he wasn't going to lose the starting job, but I did think, okay, but does he lose it? And I felt like it wouldn't shock me. And it was speaking more to Hornsby than it was against KJ because, Hornsby has it in him. He really does. He has it in him to be a special kind of talent, but he just doesn't have it figured out yet. And he's clearly just a little bit – I think he's actually a little bit further behind than I thought he would be. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll tell you, that's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on is what happens at the QB2 spot. So he's the waited out after KJ. I'm not sure about Coley after him. Too early to say, Jack. Way too early to say about these youngsters or even the Ole Miss transfer. It's too early. We don't know, right? I can remember after KJ, when he got his start as a freshman, everyone said, I hope he transfers out. Hope he's gone. He ain't it. I don't know how often I heard that. He ain't it. KJ ain't it. I swear to God, that was almost trending on my channel. Clearly, he was it. So it's just too early to say. Are there any injury updates on Burks? So as far as Burks, sounds like he's sore. He is a little banged up. He's not expected to miss, as far as I know. We're going to know about that when Sam talks to the media today. He might actually be talking with them right now, as a matter of fact. Those videos, I think, go live at 1. I'm definitely going to watch and listen and see where they're at as far as injuries. Got to be healthy. You got a short week for Mizzou. So, all right, I'll be back tonight right after the game against Kansas State. It's going to be a late one. I hope you guys are there. Let's hope Arkansas wins, makes this just wins. Get the dub, and then on to the next day, right? So, all right. Thank you, guys. Patreon supporters, I love you guys. I love you, too. Even though some of us may disagree, a lot of us disagree, or several of you disagree about a number of things. But I do appreciate you, too, and sponsors, all of you, all right? If you want to be a Patreon supporter, remember it's a minimum of $4 a month. It goes towards helping out the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me keep the lights on in here and continue doing this. I really enjoy doing it. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 11 a.m. Every single time the Razorbacks are on TV, football or basketball, men's basketball, I'll be live in the postgame. So, yeah. All right. We'll see you tonight. Go Hogs.